Hello and welcome, it's Pamela here. I hope you're having a great week. Today I am back with another art journal tutorial. This time I'm using my Arteza 5.5 by 5.5 inch watercolor book, which is actually the first time I'm using it, so I'm trying out a few different things today. First off, just to let you know, I've speeded this video up to twice as fast as all my previous videos, just so that it goes a bit quicker. I really hope that it still works though and you're able to follow along, so please let me know in the comments if it works for you. And on that note, I'll just add that if you do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more papercraft and mixed media tutorials uploaded twice a week, normally every Wednesday and Saturday. So just to catch up with what I'm actually doing, my first step was to add a piece of washi tape along the center of the pages just to protect the binding and the spine. Once that was laid down, I covered my pages with a layer of black gesso. I'm not really used to using such a small surface, so I may have put a bit too much on there, but it's fine. I'm using the black gesso as part of the design of the page, so I do want a really nice opaque coverage. Next, it's time to add some colour and some texture to my page, and for this I'm using paper paste, to which I've added a small amount of Arteza Gouache in grey, and I'm applying it through Dusty Attic's brickwork stencil. When I decided to do this page, I knew from the start that I'd be using this gorgeous stamp from Pink Ink Designs, and because it's a flamingo, I knew I'd be colouring it in pink and red tones, so I like the idea of having that grey brick background just so the flamingo really pops. To keep things pretty simple, I'm only using the stamps that were included in the Flamingo stamp set today, including these gorgeous tropical plants and flowers. Thankfully, the flamingo image came out perfectly the first time, but I did find the cluster a little more tricky, and I didn't get a perfect crisp image until the third time, but as they say, third time's a charm. I also stamped it a fourth time, just so I've got two of each to use on my page. By the way, just to let you know, I've stamped onto Bristol paper, which is super smooth and really nice for stamping, and it also takes watercolours up to a certain extent. You just have to be a bit careful when layering colours, as if you go over them too much, the paper can start to bobble a bit. There may be another term for that, but I'm going with bobble, like what happens with a jumper. Or a sweater, depending on where you are in the world. Anyway, enough of that, back to what I'm doing. So I've coloured all of my images using Derwent Inktense pencils. I normally list all the colours along the top of the screen, but as there are so many, today you'll be able to find them in the description box, which I thought was easier. And I know we've just gone past that and it's not what's being shown on the screen at present, but with the Derwent Inktense pencils, you just really need to apply them very lightly, just stroke them over the page and then push the colours out and blend them together with a water brush, and they are really easy to use. If you're going to fussy cut the images like I have here, you don't even need to be careful to stay in the lines as you're going to cut them out. So yeah, if you haven't already, I really love these pencils. You see me use them a lot, so why not give them a try? If you are looking for a watercolor medium. So now I'm moving back onto the background of my page, and I'm using a variety of Ranger's archival inks in a couple of different colours, which again I'll list in the description box, with one of the dotty stamps from the Flamingo stamp set, and I'm just adding it all over really. Even though I want my flamingos to pop against the background, I kind of have it in my head that it's kind of an urban wall. Maybe there are spots of graffiti. So yeah, I have made the background as colourful as I possibly can get it. As well as the stamped images, I also want to add a sentiment to my page. So I've die cut out a scallop circle and coloured it in with the same colour Inktense as I've used on the flamingo. I've then used a Pitt Artist brush pen by Faber-Castell in black to add the word stand tall, which I think set off the spread really nicely. I've also used the same brush pen to go around the edges of the stamped images and the die cut so that they all have the same black border and there's none of the white paper showing on the sides. Next, it's time to adhere all of those pieces, and for that I'm using Prima's soft matte gel. I'll continue doing that whilst I play some music, and I will be back on the next step. So once all my pieces are adhered and the soft matte gel is completely dry, I want to add some kind of a shadow around the images, and for this again I'm using the Pitt brush marker. I'm just adding a small amount of colour around the images, and you'll see my hand disappear every now and again. I'm dipping my finger into a small amount of water and then using that to blend the pigments out into the page. I'll then use a white gel pen to add a few highlights here and there. The next step is to add a frame around the spread that will draw the eye inwards, and for this, once again, I'm just using the Ranger Archival ink in jet black. Once this is done, my art journal page is almost complete, but to tie everything in a bit more together, I want to add some paint splatters. My preferred way of doing this is by mixing a small amount of gesso with water until it reaches a milky consistency on an acrylic block, and then using a really small thin paintbrush to flick the gesso off over the spread. For me, this gives more control as to where I'm aiming my paint splatters, and it's not as messy as some other methods. I'm now repeating the exact same process, but this time with the white gesso. So that completes my page, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out, especially it was the first time trying many of these products and using this small book. I hope you like the page too. I'd love to know if you're going to try something similar. Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.